Hello, community. Good to see y'all again, even though I don't see anybody, but you see me. It's been a little while since I've done an update, and I've gotten a few packages in this week, so here I am. And I'm going to start off with just a few CDs and then get into the vinyl. So first up is a band that is not a band that I was familiar with up until recently. They are French, just traditional heavy metal, very much, I would say, influenced by Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, but definitely hear some Priest strong influences in here, but certainly not a copycat band. This is Rising Steel, Legion of the Grave. This is their fourth studio album, and this was released in 2025 on Frontiers Records out of Italy. Just great traditional metal. So I enjoyed this enough that I'll probably be trying to track down at least one or two of their other albums. So if you're not familiar with them, check them out. Next up, probably a band that more of you would be familiar with because of the members of the group. So this is their second full-length album, Spirits of Fire. The title is Embrace the Unknown, and if you're familiar with their first release, you know that Ripper Owens was the lead singer. You got Steve DiGiorio, I'm butchering it, I know. The bass player, the fantastic bass player from Sadist and from Death. Steve is just outstanding. Love his bass playing. You got Mark Zonder from Fate's Warning and from Warlord, who I'm getting to see next month. Real excited. And Chris Caffrey from Sabotage. Well, this one, their, again, second album, does not have Ripper. Instead, they've got Fabio Leone, who was the lead singer for many years in Rhapsody, who eventually became Rhapsody of Fire, from Italy, which, again, Frontiers Records out of Italy, so I'm sure they may have had something to do with him hooking up with the band. But if this is anywhere as good as their first one, it is going to be a fun listen. So I hope that they continue to put out more music. Next up, a band that I do have a few of their earlier, one of their earlier albums, one of their later albums. I got this at a super good price. It is a live, but it's 2 CDs and a DVD. It is Vandenplaus, and it is live and Immortal. And for, I think the $10 that I spent on this, it's, you get double CD and you get the show on DVD. So they are progressive metal. So been around for a good while. I believe these guys were releasing stuff in the mid to late 90s. So they've been around. Let's see. I'll move. I've got some other CDs laying around here, but let's move to the vinyl. Seeing how this is Vinyl Vengeance. And the first 3 I'm going to show, I just got in this morning from Girder Records. I have not opened them up yet. And the first 2 are from Brand New Sin, a New York hard rock, heavy metal, maybe a little bit of southern rock. I've listened to a few clips online, but I'm not familiar with most of their music. This is their first and self-titled. And I couldn't tell you who originally released it, but, it looks like Century Media. And this was a re-release, colored vinyl from Brutal Planet Records. And this was re-released in 2024. And so that being their first one, I believe this next one, Tequila, is their third full-length album. I would imagine also, yes, released on Century Media, re-released on Brutal Planet, also in 2024. I think the original release was 2006. Again, it's going to be more of your hard rock, southern rock with some metal influences. And the last from that package is Woe of Tyrants, and this being, I believe this is their second studio album. I do have their third one I got last year and enjoyed that. So these guys are a little bit of death metal, maybe a little bit of metalcore, nothing crazy, um, and a little bit of thrash mixed in. And this is, I believe, going to be a green variant. And this album was originally released Metal Blade Records in 2009, and this again is a 2024 repress on Brutal Planet Records. Can't say enough good things about Brutal Planet. The stuff that Girder comes out with Brutal Planet, No Life Till Metal. Just I know a lot of the guys like a lot Scott Waters and I'm drawing a blank on some of the other names now, but the guys that are all behind these the production of these re-releases and these new albums are top notch. So you're not going to get skips, you're not going to get dirty records. You got good inner sleeves, pretty solid outer sleeves. So you're getting your money's worth when you buy from those companies. Next up is not a metal album, and it is hardcore rap. I was like, what the heck is that doing in this mix? Well, this band I was not familiar with. Grew up in New York, so in elementary, middle school, I was listening to Beastie Boys and Run DMC and LL Cool J, and later got into a little bit of Wu-Tang and Tupac and that stuff. But for the most part, it was hard rock, heavy metal. But this was a band that kind of slipped by me. I don't know a lot about their history. They are from New York. It is white guys, kind of Brooklyn, reminds me of the Beastie Boys. But when I saw this online and I saw Nonfiction and I saw the logo of the band, I'm like, that's from the drummer from Voivod. I'm a huge Voivod fan, and even the title, "The Future Is Now," and you got this, chaos going on in the album cover, and song titles like "Black Helicopters," "Strange Universe," which also features FM Doom, "Cult Leaders," "We Are the Future," of course, the album title, "The CIA Is Trying to Kill Me," "Drug Music," "Futurama." I was like, I've got to check it out. So I did. I listened to some clips online, and it's good. It's good stuff. If you like hardcore rap, you're gonna have all the the F bombs and whatnot in there. But I guess the main guy behind the band, after the band broke apart, I think after 2 albums, he's done a bunch of solo releases, and one of his albums, the entire cover was done by Away. As far as I know, that one's not been released on vinyl, so I think that's CD only. But eventually, I'll try and track that down too, especially if it's ever put out on record. Next two is a doom band, Doom Death, out of England, who I got into just on a whim. Way back when, during the early 90s, I came across their second full length, Turn Loose the Swans, and had never heard the band before. Loved that album, and I had picked up a bunch of their other stuff years following, and then for reasons I'm not going to get into, I got rid of those albums. And then maybe a year or so ago, I picked up Turn Loose the Swans again, and just remembered how much I enjoyed that album. So I've been trying to pick up some of the ones after that I had never listened to. So I got a line of Deathless Kings, which this one is, I believe, their ninth studio album. So Turn Loose the Swans was number 2. So we're talking about a number of years later. Not sure, maybe 2006 release on this one, and this was re-released 2014 on Peaceville Records. Really cool album cover there. So I did get to listen to that one, and then the follow-up to that one is For Lies I Sear. So this would be their number 10. I believe released again. This one's a 2009 release. I don't know if this is. I don't think it's a later pressing. I think there's only been one press on this, but regardless, both of those are just black vinyl, which I think goes just fine for this band. But haven't given a listen to this one yet. So going along with the Doom Death, there was another band a little bit after I discovered Turn Loose the Swans. I came across another album, same record store, CD. It was CDs back then though, and the band was Enchantment, and the album title, their one and only album, was called Dance the Marble Naked, and that was released in 1994, and that was on Century Media. And at that point, I was going to buy just about anything I found on Century Media on CD, and brought it home. And very much like early Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride, well, that band was a one and done, and then you never heard anything about them. There was practically no information about the band members online. And then all of a sudden, I guess it was maybe 10 years ago, somewhere within the last 5 to 10 years, all of a sudden, that album was re-released and pressed on vinyl. And then there was a new album put out, Cold Soul Embrace. And it was the same, I think, all the same members except for, I believe, the drummer. The drummer might have passed away. They had, brought in somebody else, and this was an album that they had actually worked on a lot of the tracks. They had basic tracks done. They had some demos. I think some of that material had been lost. They had notes and just short little recordings. Anyway, the band got together, pieced the songs together, and released their second full length. So even though this was released in 2022, it's material that I believe comes from like 95, 96. So again, if you're into Doom Death, you like especially the UK stuff, this is a band to check out, both this and their first one. All right, I'm going to finish up with two more, and we'll go with a band out of Boston. This is a death metal, technical death metal with probably some thrash overtones to them. This is their third 9 total now, and it is Revocation Chaos in Forms. And this is a later pressing of let's see, their 2011 release, and this was repressed in 2024. Got this one because it is Relapse Records, easy to get to the vinyl because they ship it in the outside of the sleeve. So you got a really cool dark blue with maybe some, I believe, purple splatter mixed in there. So not a band. I don't have any of their other albums, so this is a first for me, but I love the technical side of thrash as well as traditional thrash. And so yeah, if anybody out there has any of their other albums, if you recommend any, maybe their some of their newer stuff, drop a message down below, and I would appreciate that to know what I might want to pick up from them next. And last, I'll finish up with about a little over a week ago, I did my St. Patrick's Day video, and I was sharing out, of course, the records, some of the records I have that are green vinyl, but my main focus was just hitting on bands that were from Ireland. I covered 5 of them, and I've had some buddies out here in the YouTube realm that have shared their own videos and shared out some of the other bands, a bunch of other bands that I wasn't aware of from Ireland. And this is one, and wasn't aware of. They've had one release on Relapse Records. This is their second full length. So the first one was released some other label, and hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Malthusian. Of course, you wouldn't be able to probably figure that out from the font, and that font is used everywhere on the record. So it's on the hype sticker, it's on on the outer seam there, and I would imagine it's probably also on the actual records. But Malthusian, and the album is The Summoning Bell. This was released in 2025, and these guys are out of Dublin. And from what I gathered online, they're death metal, but they consider, I guess, black death metal, so maybe a little bit of black metal influence. But I'm definitely looking for more Irish bands that I haven't discovered, and this is a new one for me. And just thought that was cool that they were on Relapse, so I didn't have to have something sent from the UK. I was able to get it from right here in the US. So yeah, I have not given that a spin yet, and we wrap up with the double vinyl is a solid silver. So there we go. And so yeah, if anybody else has recommendations for some Irish thrash, traditional heavy metal, black metal, death metal, folk metal, whatever, just throw them in the links. Maybe ones that are already on my radar, but I'm cool with hearing other people's suggestions, and kind of just that way I know what I might want to explore next. So thank you for watching. Don't know when I'll do another video. I think there's supposed to be a live tomorrow night, ranking the songs of Master of Puppets, Metallica's Master of Puppets, with some buddies. So if you get a chance, you might want to check that out. Thank you all for watching. God bless. Be well.